Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's get started on this half statue, half golden goddess tutorial. I am first starting by color correcting my brow. This is the statue side, so color correcting with a little green is going to take the red out of my brow and help that white look a little whiter over top. But to make sure it doesn't look just downright green under the white, I am going in with some of my foundation and patting that over top and around my brow to help that blend in. Next, to create the cracked statue look, I'm going in with some modeling silicone and taking a flat metal spatula to help spread that across half of my face, kind of starting down the middle at the top of my face, and as you'll see later, working it down diagonally across to the other side on the bottom. This does start setting up and solidifying relatively quickly, so within 30 seconds to a minute, I go in with a more pointed end of that spatula and start drawing in those cracks. Because the modeling silicone is clear, it can be hard to see where exactly you're drawing and what pattern you're creating, so if you're having a little bit of a hard time, you could always prime under the silicone with the pattern that you want to draw, and then it's basically tracing over top what you've already done. Something else you want to keep in mind when working with modeling silicone is how it will stick to your facial hair, specifically your brows. You can see here I have it worked pretty thickly into my brows, and while the amount of product I previously applied, the color corrector and foundation, will help prevent that sticking a good amount, you can avoid it entirely by blocking your brows out beforehand. Because this dries so quickly, I am working in smaller sections, so now moving on to the portion on the lower half of my face, I'm also covering my lips, and when doing this, you have to make sure to keep your lips open. As you can imagine, it's kind of sticky, and so if you touch your lips together as that compound is still drying, it's going to start lifting and look less like you want it to. So once that's applied to my face, I continue down to my neck and chest, and then once it's set, I will go in with a white face paint and start buffing that all over the statue side of my face. Don't forget your ears. Once that's evenly blended, I go in with a translucent setting powder to set it all. This will not only help keep it in place, but it will also help the powder products that I'm about to apply later lay evenly. And to make my lashes disappear, I'm using that same white body paint on a fan brush and running it through both my top and bottom lashes, and toning down any color in my waterline using a white eyeliner. On to contour, I'm taking a light gray shadow and applying it to the hollows of my cheeks, my temples, as well as the sockets of my eye, all the way up to the inner corner and brow, and then along my lower lash line as well. This creates some subtle contouring and also just kind of maps out where I know I'm going to want more severe contours in the future. From there, I'll take a black eyeshadow to intensify them. From there, I'm taking a super precise detail brush and that same gray shadow and running that in the cracks that I've created in this silicone. I'm also using it to intensify any detail that a statue would otherwise have, like the Cupid's bow, the lower lip, and the bridge of my nose. To make the boundary between my cracked statue skin and what will be my glowing goddess skin a little bit more pronounced, I'm taking that same gray shadow and going over that barrier, but then softening both it and all of the gray shadow in the rest of the cracks up with the white face paint that was left on that blending brush. This softened the gray in the cracks to make it look a little more blended and natural, but here I am going in with a black eyeshadow to selectively emphasize specific cracks, just to give the whole look a little bit more depth and dimension. Moving on to the goddess side of my face, I'm starting things off with foundation. I chose a Glowy Foundation to buff in across the skin that basically doesn't already look like a statue. Next, I'm applying concealer, patting it in my under eye area with my finger and also extending it up onto my eyelid and right up beneath my brow bone just to act as my eyeshadow primer. Then, while that takes a second to sink in and fully dry down, I'm going into my brows, first starting with a brow pencil to help fill in that inner portion of my brow as well as my tail, and then I go in with a tinted brow gel to help set everything in place. Back to the eyes, I'm going in with a black cream shadow and applying that to my lid as well as my lower lash line. To help that blend out, specifically through the crease, I'm going in with a fluffy blending brush and that same gray shadow that I was using on the statue side of my face and blending that up through my crease using windshield wiper motions and slightly pulling it out towards the tail of my brow as well. On top of that goes our first swipe of gold shadow. It's about to get really gold up in here, guys. I am patting that across my lid and then swiping that under my lower lash line as well. Pushing pause on the gold for a sec and taking time to bronze, I'm taking a soft matte bronzer and running that through the hollows of my cheeks and my temples and what's left of my jaw that's not already a statue. And then I'm also taking a bronzy highlight and running that along the tops of my cheekbones as well. Back to the gold action, I'm starting with a glitter glue, pressing that across my eyelid and all the way basically up to my hairline, and then going in with a gold glitter and tracing that same path that I took with my glitter glue, really packing it on. This is going to be a nice glittery base for the rest of the gold stuff we're going to apply. Next on this train of gilded goodness is gold leaf. I'm going and pressing that into more glitter glue that I have applied across that same glittery area that I already have before, pressing that in all the way up into my hairline and beyond into my hair. To get it to stick to my hair, you can see I just sprayed some hairspray and I'm just going to town. It really sticks nice and easily, so I just take a good amount on my fingertips and just tap it lightly onto my hair. Then, in case that wasn't enough, you need a little bit more shimmer, I'm putting some rhinestones, just a few of varying sizes but with the same kind of gold reflect in select places across my forehead, just so the light jumps off of it a little bit differently than it does everything else. But we're not done there, obviously. I'm gilding pretty much the other half of my body, starting right under my jawline on my neck and running it down across my shoulder. With that in place, I'm just doing a few last minute touches. I thought my highlight needed to be a little bit more blinding, so I'm going in with a brighter gold highlighter and applying that to the tippy top of my cheekbone right underneath my outer corner, and then also going in with a gold glitter liner and applying that in my inner corner, and then finally finishing off this goddess eye with a false lash. My foundation took down some of the intensity of that barrier, so I'm just going back with some gray and black shadows to amp it up a little bit. Then it's onto the costume. Here I just took some shears that are draped over my shoulder and cinched in with a safety pin, and then used some leaves that I spray painted gold to cover it up. Then I also have a gold accent leaf for my hair. Because if there's one thing being a golden goddess has taught me, it's that there is no such thing as too much gold. I also added some contacts to make this look a little more realistic, but you definitely don't need them to get the full effect of it all. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys!